Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to listen to me talk about my PhD project investigating the impacts of environmental pollution and noise on adolescent mental health and cognition. So, air pollution is thought to have effects on the brain, and noise has immediate psychological effects. So, if you play noise at someone in a lab, they'll be distracted or stressed or whatever. But what we don't understand is the long term effects psychologically of environmental exposure to pollution and noise. Systematic reviews of this literature are generally supportive, but they're not conclusive. So there's huge heterogeneities in whether an effect is found and the size of that effect. And so it's hard to say at this point if there's a causal link present. Further, despite there being this emerging literature on environmental exposures and psychological outcomes, there's very limited literature on people's subjective experiences and perceptions of their physical environment, even though this seems quite important for providing a richer context for understanding these exposure effects. So the first thing that I've done is I interviewed 14 to 18-year-olds about the environment and how their environments affect them. The interviews were designed and the thematic analysis conducted in collaboration with two adolescent co-researchers who helped me to interpret what was said. The young people identified many things, many features in their local environment as having an effect on them, including noise, fresh air, litter, general degradation. And they highlighted many mechanisms or ways in which they were affected, including disrupting sleep, being distracted, being stressed, general pleasantness, general unpleasantness. And they were very environmentally engaged and passionate, particularly about climate change, but they also felt very disempowered to themselves make a difference. So this has implications for modelling choices in exposure studies. Maybe we should be looking at different windows of exposure, in terms of night and day, or different places of exposure, home and school, to try and unpick these mechanisms the young people were talking about. It has implications for our interpretations. So a lot of pollution studies assume a biological mechanism, but maybe it's more about being in a generally industrial, generally degraded environment. And finally, it has implications for policy. So we're working with young people, we want to advocate for them. And if they're really passionate about climate change, then we would prefer policies that not only reduce young people's exposure to pollution, but that actually reduce emissions. So the next step is going to be to conduct an epidemiological analysis of exposure to noise and to air pollution in the SCAMP study of adolescents in London. Here you can see the different SCAMP schools and the varying levels of exposure to particulate matter less than 10 micrometers, according to the London Atmospheric Emissions Inventory in 2016. Thank you.